What's up, son?
Oh, what's up, son?
Welcome back, son.
Welcome back, son.
We are back inside the shop after a long hiatus, and we, like I said, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's way too much. So we're going to talk about what's going on in the world of comics and what's been going on inside the shop and what else.
Well, before we get started, I just want to say we're joined here tonight by our good friend Loren. Loren, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, just happy to be here. Glad you guys invited me. So we hung out at the con earlier today, so I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit and enjoy a little conversation.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Before we, get into the topics for today, just want to make sure everybody takes a moment to like and subscribe this video. Please share it. We're trying to grow our audience. We are coming to you live, not live. We're being recorded tonight. We're coming to you from recording from our shop here in beautiful Main Street, Spring Hill, Tennessee.
Yep.
Here at Cadets Toys and Comics. So check us out on our website at cadetstoys.com. All
the socials.
All the socials at Cadets Toys. So come check us out. Joey.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. Lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like we have had
our muscle memories.
Our muscle memory is off. Production's off. Like we're going. Okay, this isn't right. The lighting's not right. The audio's not right. We don't have enough headphones. We're like, how are we going? We actually added a guest. So in order to complicate this as much as we could, we actually did that. So congrats. But we got it up and going, and I think we're actually recording it. So that's a positive. What do you think, Loren?
I appreciate it. So
yeah.
I appreciate the effort.
So we're going to change the format up a little bit. I like to have a guest here more often because it really helps to kind of stimulate the conversation. Lots been going on in the shop. We rearranged.
Very much so.
So we could have more space.
Fantastic.
Lots of great feedback from the adjustment, the rearrangement, and adding tables and taking out shelves and whatnot. So not whatnot, but yeah,
not whatnot.
This and that. Yeah.
This and that.
Can't say that anymore.
We can't say whatnot.
Well, we can.
Is it trademark? Is that trade? I don't care.
No,
I don't want to know if it is.
Yeah.
I don't think how they could do that. It's kind of like trading. Marking, watch, you might call it.
Yeah.
But that is trademark.
Can't say and anymore. That's trademarked.
Can you say what?
And? The conjunction. Yeah. Somebody trademarked it.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Somebody tried to tried to or did?
Tried to trademark a conjunction, but they failed. Yeah. Or maybe it was an ampersand. I don't know. It was one of the two.
Yeah. Because it's used too often or it's a common. I mean, they trademarked Happy Birthday song, Can't.
Yeah, but that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't. Really? It's like, can you not sing Happy Birthday over YouTube?
Yeah, ASCAP will come after you.
I'll try it. See what happens.
Let's not.
I think it depends on different recordings because I may be wrong about this completely because I don't know. But I think if you record something, I don't know. There's publishing rights, so.
Yeah, and 1 minute in, we're completely off the rails.
Completely. I knew we would be. I was like, this is not going to go straight. It's going to be like this, and we're going to be back at it. So, good weekend at the shop, I guess.
Yeah, it's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah?
It's Memorial Day weekend right now, so we're kicking off the summer. So there's a lot of people excited about that. It's always hard to get a gauge for business in those periods of time. It's like, are people, home, and is that just a fun time to kick it and go to the shop and do a little bit of whatever they want on Memorial Day weekend, or is everybody gone? Because we see new people coming in. I've seen a lot of new people coming in the shop this week. We got a new sign up on the building.
Oh yeah, we did
awesome.
do that.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'll throw a picture of that up at some point.
Whenever you're trying to gauge things for marketing and analytics, it's there's all these caveats that kind of throw all those metrics off. So I don't know. But
I don't know about analytics, but it looks really good from the road.
Well, that's what matters. It really is, and that you can see it from the road.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's illuminated yet. The electrician was supposed to. He said, "I'm gonna come out on Friday night," which it's Memorial Day weekend, so I'm pretty sure that guy didn't show up.
But it's so far. It's exactly the most Cadets Toys and Comics thing to, after 2 years, finally get the sign and then it not work at night. So
that's
us.
That's us.
Still looks good.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, exactly. In full effect all the time. So
the shop looks good, guys. This layout's fantastic.
But I think we had a good weekend, even though it is a holiday weekend. A lot of people are out of town. A lot of people went camping or to the lake or they're cooking out. They're not hanging at the comic shop. The Pokemon swap was interesting yesterday. Had
It was
a lot of
different.
new faces.
Different demographic.
A different demographic. Normally, it's a lot of kids. There was an older crowd this time around.
Mm-hmm.
People who actually had been collecting for a long time.
Yeah.
Since they were kids. So
Yeah.
it's like that's interesting to kind of witness. And from my perspective, comic books for us is not that foreign. But like when you're talking about Pokemon cards, like I picked these up when I was a little kid. And he's like 35, and it's like I just like my Pokemon radar is just like, what?
But we were talking about that, like in the Pokemon, because we just kind of missed that. It came out in '95, and we were '91 to '94 or '5. We were playing basketball, and it was girls.
Honestly,
and it
man,
was
I don't
high
even.
school.
The first time I remember Pokemon, I was working in Marietta, Georgia. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I was a lifeguard at one of these little neighborhood pools, and the kids were playing with Pokemon cards on the side of the pool, and I was like, "What in no?" It was like Pokemon cards and Pogs. That was like the
Yeah.
things they were dealing with,
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't even know what Pokemon cards were. But I had gone to school in like southeastern Kentucky, which was very isolated anyway. We were lucky we had cable. I think we got the internet like my last 2 years of college.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what Pokemon cards were. I was all excited about at that point. I was excited about Episode 1 and Lord of the Rings. So I wasn't really geeking out about whatever else was out there. And obviously I thought it was a game for kids, and over time we've learned that it's something completely different. Your kids are into it.
Yeah,
right?
my son's 9, my daughter's 11, and they're all into it. They love it. I was laughing with Joey earlier. They don't know how to play the game. They just want to collect the cards, and they rip open the packs and they know what they're looking. I have no clue.
Here in
I
our
can
shop,
scan it
it's-
on
yeah.
the phone and tell you that way, but I'm out of my element with it. I mean, 95, I was my 4th year of college. We'll just leave that there. But
What, you
yeah.
Van Wilder?
Hey, I laugh and tell people I redshirted my freshman and sophomore year, and I was not in sports.
I was there 5 years.
Yeah,
I did 5 years.
Sure, I was 5. Yeah, we'll call
Okay,
it that.
fair. Hey, but you were at UGA, dude.
kept going back
come on,
as
you
an
weren't
adult.
going anywhere.
It was
And
a lot
most people
of
who
fun.
go 4 years at UGA stay 3 more years anyway.
Yeah, but hey,
They
if I
don't
had-
want to leave.
If I hadn't stayed that long, I wouldn't have met my wife. So,
Well, see, it all worked out for
worked
everybody.
out fine. But yeah, I don't. My knowledge
And you
on
wouldn't have
Pokemon's
kids buying
limited.
Pokemon cards.
Nope. So,
Yeah, our customer base, they definitely are more of the collector side than the players, but hopefully we can change that.
Well, that's one of the goals for the shop here is to start getting into more organized play and having. That's why one of the big motivations for the rearrange was to have more table space, and which we've added. But as a side effect of that, it opened the shop up a lot,
Yeah.
so it doesn't seem as clustered
Totally
or crowded
unrealized.
in here.
Yeah.
So that's been a positive. We were also able to sort of put our back issues all in one spot as opposed to 2 or 3, and it's made that a lot easier. We can start new weekly walls. Funko Pops are getting smaller and smaller, unfortunately, but that's what it is.
Yeah, this business is totally, you've got to be so fluid because, things can change from month to month as to what is selling, what's hot, what people are reading. You got the challenges of all your distributors and your publishers and your writers. It's just all these things that you just have to have your fingers on the strings with this stuff all the time. So, you got to stay really, really diverse. And one of our big goals and one of the things that we're doing is we're really going to diversify and get ourselves also into games. And starting with Pokemon and getting real official.
Well, we want to do the
Pokemon
pre-release.
professors.
We want to do the pre-release parties,
Yeah.
and to do that, you have to do organized play. You have to be set up for organized play, and
You have
to
to
get
be
be set up for organized. Yeah, you have to set up for organized play. You have to apply to be a Pokemon professor.
Yeah.
So it's like
who's the professor?
right now I got
We're
my.
both going to be.
We're both going to be, but
Yeah.
I've got I'm actually going to put that on my resume next to my Kentucky Colonel.
Oh,
It's going to
nice.
be Honorable Order of Kentucky Colonels, Pokemon Professor.
Pokemon professor.
We'll
Dr. Tommy and Dr. Joey.
We're
I'd
well-
like to get
we'll
your
wear,
professional opinion.
Yeah.
Wear
Well,
tweed jackets with the elbow patches will really look like professors.
So we're talking PhD, right?
I was actually thinking like a lab coat because don't they have professors in Pokemon? There's actually that's a character.
That's a lab. I would think a Pokemon professor would be
Like he's smoking a pipe.
like a
And,
northeastern intellectual,
Yeah.
with the tweed jackets and the
I guess it depends on what your discipline is.
Yeah.
Professor X with a different job.
Get a beard like Loren, you grow one. Yeah.
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 We can work
Knock
on those
over the
things.
mic.
Yeah, don't knock that over, man.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, but that's Lorcana.
Well, we've applied for Lorcana. That seems like that's even more hoops to jump through, but that's supposed to be the new thing coming out. And
We're here for it.
we're down. I hope jump into it. So
here for
we're gonna have to advertise ourselves as a card shop
Yeah.
to a point. And we
Well-
still got. I think one of the things I don't know. Maybe get some opinion about this, Lauren.
Yeah.
But we didn't put ourselves into one box. We
Right.
don't just sell Funko Pops. We don't just sell sports cards. We don't even sell sports cards. We don't just sell cards. We don't just sell comics. We don't just sell toys. It's like it's a little bit of everything. We kind of work with what works. Like so, our biggest seller is back issue. So we definitely try to get as many back issue comics. We do the weeklies. Some people are reading. A lot of people are buying art. Matt.
Don't knock it.
I know, man.
It's a beautiful thing.
Speaking of which,
I
man, we
mean,
got some great
all
covers
over the
here.
table.
Sabine Rich.
Art Germ, Sabine Rich. I forget this lady's name.
Carla
Zerdy.
Cohen.
Yep. Zerdy.
Yeah.
But little heir to the empire.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
But
that
yeah,
was today.
so like you mentioned you sell everything, and I feel like I bought everything. But
Bought a little something.
But it's
DC
like
guy.
doing a lap when you walk in, like with the new layout. Now, you didn't have this before. It was real clustered. And sorry, it's time for me to take my heart medicine.
Really?
Don't let us interrupt you.
Yeah. So it's bedtime,
Oh, my
No,
gosh.
I'm kidding. But like you couldn't have had the crowd that you had on Free Comic Book Day if you hadn't had done this, and they don't get an opportunity to see all your product because when you come in, obviously you got the new releases. Then you go right into your back issue, do the lap, go back, look at some gaming, some action figures, come around the corner, you got your trade paperbacks, you end at Funko, and then maybe you want to buy something off the wall.
Or
and you
vice versa.
Yeah.
Or you can go the other way.
You go the other way, but I mean...
Don't forget, kids stop at the Pokemon, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you got Pokemon at the front. So, I mean,
Okay.
you can just do a lap, see what you want to buy, and then
Well, if you
end at
start
the
at the-
register at the front.
If you start at the Pokemon and the wall books, though, there's not much money left to make the rest of the store. So
Yeah.
if you spend too much money there,
Well, but if you think about retailers, where are all the registers at?
up
They're
in
at the front,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And y'all's is back here. I
Well, that
love
was
the
the
layout.
big motivation, to get that up
great.
in the front. And, I honestly think things were kind of walking out of here a little bit, too, because we'd be getting all these online orders.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know I saw this here recently, so.
Well, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Who
so,
knows what's walked out this door and what hasn't.
No kidding. So.
All we got to do is go in the back for 5 seconds, and it's like,
Yeah.
even though we have cameras.
Right.
But yeah, no, we did some work in here.
Yeah, my kids love the Pokemon corner up there.
We added posters.
Yeah.
Posters is a new thing here. We were talking to our good friend. I was talking to my good friend Kyle. Kyle. Used to shop at Galactic Quest in Lawrenceville.
I know Kyle very well.
Yeah. So Kyle, God bless him. There's very few people that do this kind of thing, but Kyle called me out of the blue one day. He was just like, "Hey, Tommy." I was like, "What's going on, Kyle?" He's like, "I just want to check in and see how the shop was doing." I'm like, "All right, man. Well, appreciate that." And like he let me talk for a minute, and I kind of told him what was going on, what we were working with, and he's like, "Well, let me give you just what we're doing." Because he asked me where am I sourcing, certain things. Like, I said, well, we got Southern here. We can get stuff. We can drive and get it. He goes, oh, that's real lucky, because he has to everything has to ship to him. And but he's like, we've been selling the heck out of posters.
Yeah.
I was like, posters. He goes, so tell me about this. And then he told me what he pays and what the margins were, and I was like, we're selling them left and right. Of course, we are too. I think if we've restocked anything a lot lately, but we've probably we've had them a couple months, and we're already on our 4th order of them. So it's like we're going through them pretty quick.
Think about how many people were selling posters at the con.
They were
all over the
that was
place.
pretty big there today too.
They're going with us when we.
Yeah, we're gonna have
get
to
some
probably do a
stuff.
big order for them.
Yeah,
But
get another rack.
yeah, and so we've kind of doubled down on our posters. We did posters. We doubled down on Pokemon. We've definitely got more Pokemon here.
Well, at the same time too, we added like stickers and just little.
The stickers have been a great thing.
Impulse buy.
This is
stuff.
one of those Joey things that like he thinks about. It's like it popped up one day. I said, what the hell's all this? And he's like, I got some stickers, man. I just got them online. Like I kind of like, sticker, oh, whatever, man. And the next thing I know, it's like that's what the one thing everybody walks out of here with.
Yeah.
It's they literally go, "I'll take these," and it's like, all right.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Have some
because,
stickers.
because yeah, like we've added those two things, and it seems like it's something that a lot of people walk out of here with now that we have them. It's just
Well, we tried the T-shirts, and
Yeah.
they once in a blue moon somebody will pick up a T-shirt.
Yeah.
The weeklies we've really cut back on ordering. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's people got their pulls, and we think we can sell it because there are a lot of people that do still walk in here off the street. Oh, you got this book? We got to make sure we have certain books.
ASM.
on the wall. Yeah.
But
Well,
Well, ASM. Well, honestly, there were a couple of issues there. We had like that one with Norman Osborn on the front of it,
Oh, yeah.
the most recent one. That one, sad. Still got like 10 of those. I don't know why we got so many of those things, but we did. That one didn't fly off the shelf. But we got to look at the cover. So if we think there's a Art Germ or a Zerdy or
Yeah.
Jenny Frizen, Jen Bartel. I mean, those things are. Everybody here wants to buy those covers, so we definitely try to double down on those. But we've been smart about that. We've cut back on Funko Pops a lot, and we're just looking for collections. And same thing with action figures. There's just no money in action figures, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. But we do that definitely, and get the word out on this that we are not out of action figures. We're just buying collections because
Correct.
it's just the stuff that we order from the distributors. They're just middling us out of it. So
Speaking of which, you about this Marvel thing?
yeah, middling us out. Well, this is.
I didn't even know about this, man. I literally, and I haven't gotten on YouTube in a while, but yesterday morning was it yesterday? Whatever. Yesterday morning I was up early and I was cooking breakfast. I'm going to put on Thinking Critical, which, I try not to. I don't think the dude's wrong with what he says. God bless him for getting out there and putting his opinion out there. But sometimes you can only take so much, negativity. You just kind of want to go, somebody say something positive. I know he has some positive posts too. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, I put him on and I was like, okay. And for some reason it popped up on this Marvel thing and it was like, Marvel is screwing over retailers. I said, uh-oh, what is this all about? And so I watched it and it's like, I had no idea this was going on. I literally was like, what? I pulled up my phone, went through my emails to see, and sure enough, there was something from Penguin that said, FYI, these foil variant covers are going to, you're not going to get your normal discount on some of these. And I kind of dug into what they were saying there, and what it is, just so if you don't know, it's like Marvel, the cost to produce these foil variants has gone up. So instead of raising the price of the actual comic, they just cut the margins to the retailers.
But I think all the LCSs that are our size that are not just these giant conglomerate book buying like Midtown, but not to say anything bad about it, I'm just saying they're huge. If all of the shops our size were to say, F you, we're not doing it, we're not buying them, sorry, then it just creates this whole other thing that
people who
Marvel's
can
not going to lose
either way, because then you got people who can't afford to eat the cost will just buy a bunch and we only bought 100 of these, so
and then they can charge 5 times the cost for
so
them.
It's just a lose on our end. So
Disney,
I just think it kind of sucks. But
Disney doesn't care.
No, they don't.
No,
They don't care.
No,
Of course not.
and look, if you don't
It's
have
a line on a spreadsheet.
people are gonna buy it somewhere else,
Totally.
and they're gonna pay a premium for it.
You do it. 100%.
Yeah, I know. I
So
want
what
the
you're telling us is to raise the price.
I would. I mean, treat it like a 1 in 25. I mean, I don't know why it's not your fault. Now, I get it. Some consumers might have issues with it, but look, you got to keep the doors open. I want you to keep the doors open. That means I got to pay a premium for a specialty book. Then I'm going to pay a premium for a specialty book.
Well, yeah, that's usually how it goes around here.
My thoughts.
Well, that's what I had. And what it is just that there's this product that they're putting out. I put on their shiny shit product because they try to put the shine on something that they've really driven readers away prior to this because the writing's just not being good on a lot of stuff. here and there, quite honestly, it's been, you know, few and far between when you get a book that's like really compelling that you are like, oh my God, that's awesome, I want to get the next one. But they're just putting, you know, trying to put the shine on this mediocre product, and then they're, you know, that, like you said, I agree with you about how they probably realize, oh crap, we didn't raise the price on this, and then but they've been doing a bad job for, you know, just with the product prior to that, and then they put all these foils together, all this stuff, and you know, people buy art, people buy it for foils. People buy it for all those reasons outside of reading it. That's for sure. But
this foil variant thing kind of came out of nowhere. Like I was like, I remember like, oh, there's a foil. There's a foil.
Well,
like,
they had them in the '90s, but the stories were good then.
Yeah, but I mean, all of a sudden they just like popped up with these foils. Like they just start. Now it's becoming kind of like every other week, let's do a foil. It's kind of like every other week, let's make a black light pop. You know, it's like it's going to lose its luster. Like whoever's running the comic industry obviously wasn't alive in the '90s, period, or at least they weren't paying attention.
Right.
I don't know. Matt, you got an opinion on the foils?
Matt's a cover buyer.
Totally.
He's taught me well. I mean,
he's great at it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that. Oh, go ahead.
That bad, huh?
I mean, listen, I lived through the '90s when I got into comic books, so it's one of those things that I think they're just scratching to find ways to get people to buy books, and you know, people my age now have that disposable income. They see the shiny foil again, you know,
the embossed.
Did it touch back to our childhood? And it's a way to get extra product out on the market, right? So you can have a retail exclusive and offer it, you know, 3,000 print run, and then also, you know, at XYZ Con, we're going to bring out our foil. It's the same book. They don't have to print anything different except the cover, and now you make it a little bit more exclusive, create some demand. Yeah, that's what they're doing, and we're gobbling it up.
Yep. I mean, they're going to ride it until they, you know, run everybody away from it.
Well, in this situation,
Mass produce it.
Everybody wins, but the local comic shop, and
the industry is just not built for small business. It is like, but the truth is, like, where else you can't go into Target or even Barnes and Noble anymore and pick up weekly books. At one time, I think Books A Million you could. They had like
a minute. Yeah, it wasn't very long.
And even then, it was kind of like the old days where you'd go into like a bookstore and you'd buy it off the shelf, but it was like 2 months after it was released into the, you know, the direct market, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't, it sucks, you know. It's like, here we are starting our own comic shop, and it's like, man, like, it's like everything is, like you said with the sign, it's like everything is fighting us to just do this. So in some ways you just kind of have to adapt and got to roll with the punches, I think, you know. And I think we have, you know, and we know, well, we pick out the books that we think are good stories, and we try to sell those. Hey, these are good stories. These are good stories, you know. And there's a lot of distrust out there, especially in the DC world. Well, I guess in the Marvel world too. I mean, I think people know if they go to Image, you know, there's a 50-50 chance they're going to pull a book and it's going to be a good story. For the most, that's where the better stories are. Mm-hmm. The mainstream Marvel, DC has lost so many fans because if it's not a Bat book, it's like, why am I going to read this? And you know, I had to sell comic culture on Green Arrow. I was like, man, that's a pretty good book. Like I enjoyed that, you know. And I've sold a bunch of people on World's Finest because it's the best, you know. To me, it's the best story out there, and it's written by someone that's been around a long time. Mm-hmm. You know, and you can just tell there's a difference in the writing. I actually enjoyed the new Green Lantern book. It's staring me in the face right now, but I actually enjoyed that. Cyborg, I didn't even attempt to read that. Superboy was okay.
I haven't read a comic book in probably 3 months.
You need to read a comic book.
Buy a lot of comics.
The Yoda book was really. The Yoda book was. I thought the Yoda was fun.
Yeah, but I mean, I read the first 2 and then hadn't finished it.
We know another thing about this with this announcement coming down. Unless you read every tiny part of every email that comes through, and it's a lot of emails that come from these publishers and these distributors and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
You miss it. Like, that's something that's really important that needs to be, like, you need to get that in 3 different places.
Well, I'll say when Image made the announcement to move to Lunar, there was like, I mean, first of all, I think I saw it. Where did I see it first? Maybe it wasn't emails I saw it first. It was just like,
I saw it somewhere.
no, I think I saw it on like Instagram first, and then like I went to our emails, and there was like 3 or 4, because there's like 3. We get like 3 or 4 different Image emails all the time, just straight from Image, not from like Diamond.
Right.
And it was like, hey, we're moving. I'm like, whoa. And I said this at a year ago. I was like, if Image bounces, I think Diamond's dead.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, they still have a lot to distribute. They still do toys and games, I think, and stuff. There's a lot they still do, but like, and they still have a ton of other publishers, and they're not distributing Marvel. They're not distributing IDW,
but you have to
or
pay
Dark
more.
Horse.
You have to pay,
but
more
you still have
for
to pay
them.
for shipping.
You have to pay for shipping, but you have to pay actually more for Marvel books as a comic shop through Diamond than you do through.
So it's
PRH.
like,
so the margin's thinner.
this is where I'm kind of like, hey, let me ask you this. You know, you're in a retail business
for a long time.
For a long time.
That's right.
You know, if your competitor, you know, offers free shipping and or a little bit better margin, I mean, what do you do? How do you compete with that? Are there, even if you say, all right, we just can't affect our prices so much, we can't do this, but are there things that you should be doing? Like, for instance, Lunar shows up like almost a whole week before it releases.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we could literally go through it. Hey, we don't have our books. And we could have them FedExed overnight if we needed to get them. If we really, a lot of times we look through them and set them to the side, don't even think about it until it's time to put them on the shelf. But my point is, like, what do you do though? Seriously, how do you compete?
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm going to go back a little bit.
Back it up.
Okay? So, you were talking about Kyle.
Okay.
Okay.
Love Kyle.
So do I. Okay. Kyle, same product as the next guy down the road, right? But his service was fantastic.
He was?
I actually, he shipped me books for about 8 years. After
8
I moved,
years?
Yeah, after I moved from Georgia.
That's love, man.
I moved to Salt Lake in 2005, and I got out of comics when my daughter was born, and then got back in, and you guys have sucked me in fully. Thank you. But my point is, that's one way you can differentiate, without, because the price is the price, right?
The price is the price.
I mean, $3.99 on for $4.99. If I go to the next comic shop, $3.99, $4.99. But what's going to set you apart is your customer service, in my opinion. That'll make up for sometimes paying a premium, right? And then also availability. Okay, if you've got the product, you're talking about this foil. Well, if you don't have it, guess what I'm going to do?
Drive up the road and get it
I'm
somewhere.
going to drive up the road, and you can't run that risk.
No.
Because what else am I going to see when I'm up the road, right? So, you can try and get to a price war, but that's not going to do you any good as a local comic shop. So, I think the things that you're doing, like the sign, like the layout, just the way you guys conduct yourself. You sold ASM 300, right?
Yeah.
Was that yesterday, day before? Right.
That one we sold last week.
But we were talking about it today.
Today was Secret Wars 8.
And it had a mark right in the middle, right? The 300.
It had a
little piece of tape.
Little piece of tape, right?
Yeah.
Had a piece of tape. And I said, did they notice? And what'd you tell me?
I said, I don't think they noticed, but we definitely divulged that information.
100%.
We said, hey, just so you know, this is why it's not $600 or whatever it should be, because it was a really clean book. Other than that little, which you guys found, we're like, oh, because it's hard to see. Like if you don't turn it,
Right.
Under a microscope, like it's, but it's there.
Right. We found it and we talked about it. But my point is you pointed it out to somebody.
Of course.
I've been in a lot of comic shops. I can tell you the majority of them are never going to point that out to me. And it's stuff like that I think your consumers, as you build your base, is how you battle the price
I
issue.
think I don't know how Joey feels. I'm all about the karma thing, man. You know, it's like, also it's the right thing to do. You want to treat, I know what it's like if I went to a shop, I don't want to be, you know, taken advantage of or, you know, bamboozled or whatever the case may be. So it's like, I do want to be pretty upfront about some things. It's like that poison ivy cover, that first appearance of poison ivy we had here.
Mm-hmm.
Sat here forever, you know, and it was like, because you gotta say, well, the poster's in it, but it's not stapled, you know. It's in there.
Yeah.
It just came loose, you know. It's like, that's why it's not $300 higher,
Right.
or whatever that number was. I can't remember, but you know, and people go, okay, well, let me think about it, because it's still a $300-400 book, you know. And it's like, you know, if you're going to spend more than, you know, what, $10-20 on a book, probably even more than $5, you want to take that thing out of the bag and board and, you know,
Look it over.
look it over, you know, because it's your money. You want to make sure you get what you paid for, or at least find a couple of enough blemishes to talk the comic shop down on his price. You know, it's like, I get it. So I don't know. It's for me. It's a, you know, we talked about this too early on. We're like, man, we always have to assume that our customers have more information about these books than we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how we think about it, you know.
Yeah.
So when we talk, we don't sound like we're BSing. We talk like we know what we're talking about, because we've done the research. We know they've done the research. And at least now we can have a conversation. So, well, this is what I've got it. This is what I want for it. And they go, well, will you take this? So it's not just like, well, man, your price is too high. And don't get me wrong, we've had some books in here that were a little overpriced, and you've pointed out, hey, I think you're a little high on this. And
Yeah. Well, we depend on stuff like that because we're not looking at every single book
all the time.
all the time.
We should be, but
and
probably
a lot of
not.
people are. But it's you can't do that. But I agree with you. Like, you know, there is the karma thing, but with me, it's also like, you know we buy these things. We know what we have into our investment and what we can sell it for. And so I feel like we're really fair about that. Even people, you know, have commented on our Google reviews that you know, how fair our pricing is. And the way that I see it is like, when it costs us a lot of money for people to walk in that door to get them here, just like it does with any business. So it's a little bit of marketing, a little bit of advertising, a little bit of goodwill, all in one, when someone can come in there and they can see the book they really like and they're not getting gouged for it. And if we get a good price on something, we actually sell it, you know, at a really reasonable price. It's like, oh, we could get this much for it, but it's usually 10 or 15% less than market value a lot of times on a lot of this stuff. So just depending on what we have in it on the investment side. So
And back to your
buy
customer
smart.
service thing, I'm like all about the details too. And, you know, one of the things to be organized a certain way. I want people to walk in here and not feel like I hate going to those comic shops where like they've got back issues just laying on top of back issues, and you don't know if you can pick stuff up and move it around. And technically, I think you can. It's just like, should you? Because you don't know if there's like dirt or grease or, you know, hopefully that's meringue. You know, whatever's on it. It's like, it's like those shops just drive me nuts. Like, I guess I got some OCD about that, and I just like, you can't find anything, and like, how are you going to look at stuff? And also, you know, I've worked in enough retail to know you've got to turn your shop over from time to time, because, you know, even, you know, you come in here and it's like, well, it's the same, but if you move like two things, you're like, something's different. Different. Let me check this out. And I've told this joke. I can't tell you how many times something has sat here, and nobody's looked at it, and then we unboxed the Thanos, or we put it up to the front, and all of a sudden we just moved it over here and took it out of the packaging, or whatever we did, and all of a sudden, bam, it's gone. You know, and it's like, some things are going to sell like that. Some things are going to sell right away. People, I'm looking for this, I got to have it. Or like, somebody is going to finally find in a box somewhere something sold over the weekend. I was going to call you and say, that thing finally sold, man. I can't remember what it is now, but like, it's like, it's gone. Like, it was, somebody finally came in and bought it. You know, I'm like,
well, the customer service thing, like it, and bringing it back to like Image and Diamond, like the big two left Diamond 2-3 years ago. They've had a long time to get their act together, but they continue to do things the same way. They keep messing things up. They keep sending us books short or damaged or late, or they have a truck that
Catches on fire.
catches on fire, or they gouge us, and as it turns out, making money on the shipping as a part of their business model. So they're going to phase that out over time, and it's just they were just unreliable, and they were just they wouldn't change, and now they're going to pay the ultimate price for it, because I think what Eric Larson said is just that in his statement, he was like, we've had a great association with Diamond all of these years for decades.
But deuces.
Yeah, he said, but ultimately it's about the product and our customers and them getting that and blah blah blah. Basically saying that it's been cool, but you're just not getting the job done anymore.
You better be fluid and know your audience and adapt to what they need, because if you don't, you won't be in business.
That's true.
Well, somebody needs to tell Marvel that and DC Comics that, because they don't know who their audience are, and they're just, it's like kind of like the U.S. government. There's just like nobody in charge. It's just like people are just kind of doing, they're like, well, I can just do whatever because nobody's really going to check me, That's what it seems like, because this stuff is just chaos. These comic book stories are just.
Well, it gets exhausting for me to try and find, because I'm a Marvel guy. I'm not a DC guy, and it gets exhausting for me to find something that catches my, catches my attention to want to read.
Matt and I were talking about this yesterday. Like, I don't know of a Marvel story right now that is worth reading. Like, I would go, wow, they haven't had. Matt, what were you saying? You said they haven't had like a Days of Future Past. They haven't had, a Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah, those stories are just roll off the tongue. I know those stories; they're legendary. There's the last story that resonated like those stories did.
It's been a while. I don't know if this Ultimate Invasion will, but
Well, they're also.
I mean, like the Powers of 10, that was supposed to be that, but it ended up petering out.
that wasn't. That's when I tried to jump onto X-Men, and
You helped me find the rest of that little Craven run, Matt. So I'll practice that. Will probably be the next thing I read. I'm gonna sit down and read all 6 of those.
Well, one thing that the big two are doing is they're pushing talent out to like this distillery that's coming up that these creators are putting together. And of course they write for the big two, DC and Marvel, but they in our shop, like when they do distillery, these are going to be again independent titles and independent properties and their stories, which is a lot of where the great story writings go is coming from, are these independent titles and these writers. But it's tough to sell in the comic shop because people are just going to buy DC and Marvel, but we really have to push people towards independent books. Like, I know you're a Marvel guy, or I know you're a DC guy, but this is a good story. You should check this out. And you really have to sell the people on the indie books, and I read a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it's good.
And sort of as like I think we're echoing Matt. I think as buying in our buying strategies, we've like I'm looking for number ones. Even just putting out this title number one. I do try to read the descriptions, because if it sounds super dumb, just like if it's, Susie works at an arcade and she's going to be a fairy princess and she's going to save the world, and it's going to be like she's going to chase a bubblegum machine, and I'm just kind of like, I don't think this is going to be a good story, and I'm like, I'm not buying that, but if it sort of sounds interesting to me, I think it's going to sound interesting to most people, because I'm usually pretty middle of the road when it comes to stories, and I like all types of stories, so I'm like, well, we can buy the number ones. We'll buy a few extra of those and leave them on the shelf, because we can kind of talk people into that series, and if they jump on number one and they like it, then they'll order the 2s, 3s, and 4s. If you get in like 2, 3, 4s and down on an image book and people aren't pulling it, I'm not wasting money on that, because like, very rarely would somebody walk in, you got, Indigo Children number 3, and it's like, no.
Yeah, I had a guy.
Shirtless Bear Fighter.
I had two guys.
First of all, Shirtless Bear Fighter was awesome.
I'm gonna refrain from.
It was
saying
ridiculous. You got to read it from the
anything.
ridiculous. I thought it was the first. I thought the first season was hilarious. Second season, I think maybe went off the rails.
Nick, that might be why I'm having struggling with indies, because that's what he asked me to
That
read.
was your
Shirtless
first
Bear
delve
Fighter.
into that, yeah.
He asked you to read that.
No, you did.
Oh, I did.
You did.
Oh.
And I bought it.
But
I
you're
read
slow
it.
to
And I
come
lost
to
10
the
minutes
side.
of my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Shirtless Bear Fighter Volume 2 wasn't as good as Volume 1.
Well, I've had 2 customers come in this week. It's like, yeah, do you have issues 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Earth Divers? And another guy's come in and is looking for the first 2 issues of Harrower. I'm like, okay, yeah, pretty good stories, but yeah, we don't order deep on those, so we didn't have them. But
We did it first. We
once
did
in a
with
while.
we thought, somebody will jump in on a series, and it was just like our back issues just got. Now we're selling these things at $1. It's like, this is
some of
stupid.
them we are, yeah. So
So
you can find some nice independent bargains here at the
The,
shop.
the only independent I pull is Godzilla.
really?
Yeah, my daughter loves it.
Who
Oh,
does
you buy
Godzilla?
that for your daughter?
Yeah,
Is that IDW?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even think Matt back there reads anything,
yeah.
especially not something independent.
Cover.
It's a cover
Okay.
buy, man.
I mean,
it's got to be a
look,
cover.
I mean, that's probably what they're spending their money on, right?
Who?
It's not writers. It's
Marvel is, well, let's put this in perspective. DC Comics president is an artist.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
you can tell when their books look fantastic.
Yeah, and like
And their quality.
Marvel just has all the talent.
But I mean that
They don't have
That looks
all the
good.
talent,
Yeah,
but they
it's
have
great.
a lot of it.
I mean, it just it's thick.
Quality,
The
cut
paper.
stock.
Unlike Marvel, their stuff comes on whatever toilet paper. I think
It's awful. It's awful. Yeah, but
the fact that Spider-Man number 6 was it 6 or 7, whatever, came back as a 9/8 was kind of
miracle,
shocking.
yeah, because it's
Which one?
the cover's made
That
of the
first
same
Spider-Boy?
paper as the interior
Oh, yeah, yeah.
pages. You know, I
7.
mean, right?
7,
Isn't it
Spider-Man 7.
the interior? The cover on Marvel is the same
Something like
it's
that.
page type.
It's not going to
quality.
be right here. This one might be it.
Yeah,
But
this one is, but I'm not gonna.
it's like a People.
No, that's older.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're
like a
not gonna open
People
that one up.
magazine. The cover is as thin as the pages are.
This one's a little thicker.
Yeah.
This one, but there's some of them. Yeah, there's some you can tell like right off the
Yeah.
bat. Ooh, be careful with that one.
So I was saying-
I mean, 'cause this
and
one
this is
looks
really
good.
bad for business. But I mean, we can still point you in the right direction of good titles. And if you love cover art, then man, what a time to be alive. Because there's lots of that
Well,
every single week.
there's a lot
And it's
in-
really good stuff.
All that. There's
All
a lot.
that.
Oh, there's a lot in
We have-
there.
Well, there was a
We have
And those
lots.
over there.
There was a young lady came in yesterday, girl, 14 years old. She can't. I've seen them in here before. Like she's got like 6 brothers and sisters or something like. And there's a like mom parks outside in like a big old cargo van, and like these kids all file out like
Oh,
the
yeah,
Apple
yeah,
Dumpling
yeah, yeah.
Gang, and like roll up in here with their dollars, and like they're shopping, and it's like this is awesome. And that girl was in here yesterday, and she basically handed me back issues, and I was like, she goes, I don't want these, and I want to return them. And I thought to myself, well, we don't really take returns, but then I picked up on what the thing was. I knew like the content in the books was not right for her, so I'm like, okay, let's find something that she can read. And finally, I could tell she was shy, and I was just like, you do know that if you're interested in something, we can help you find it. So just if you tell us what you're sort of liking, we'll point you in the direction of something that's similar. That's one of the things I actually kind of picked up from Kyle, because Kyle's like motto, I guess, or mission and statement is like he wants to sell some kid their first comic book. Like to him, nothing is more rewarding than being able to sell a kid their first comic book. And I thought, so like when this girl's like, just read these books, and we'll give you some suggestions. I said, unfortunately, a lot of mainstream comic books today are not geared for kids, but Chrono Cadets is.
Yes, it is.
Chrono Cadets.
Daughter loved it.
And so like, but some of these older titles, some of these, we got the kid spinner rack at the front. There's some graphic novels and stuff like that. So anyway, it was just interesting to see how we can kind of put. And the same thing's true with the big kids too, the grown-ups. That we are more than happy. We do try to sit down and at least read some of these books as much as we can.
As much as we can. Yeah.
And sometimes we rely on Nick. Nick's like, oh, this is a fantastic story, but everybody's tastes are different. Matt's only ever come up to me and said, Tommy, read this book. One book. And I never got around to reading it. But I think it was Wildcats #1 that just released.
Yeah.
Apparently is that the best book ever, Matt? Or most recently?
Yes, best book ever
Best book ever?
in the history of books.
No kidding.
Nice.
No.
But it was better than you would expect.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
Well, that's pretty much the expectation.
Well,
That's a win these days. I
A
guess.
lot of this goes cyclical, right? You know, they go through peaks and valleys.
It will.
Because it'll. I mean, and I think I still buy them, and I don't have read anything in a couple months, but it's not really because I don't want to. A lot of it's the time, you know. But at some point, I'll pick back up Spider-Man and get right back caught up with it again, and wait for the next issue to come out.
Well, speaking of Spider-Man, there's a big event this week with ASM, and so if you haven't,
26.
number 26,
Mhm.
ASM 26. If you haven't got your orders in, tough.
Variant.
Variants are dwindling. So, but it's supposed to be a big event leading to another one shot. Don't know how that's going to affect the Marvel Universe overall. Don't know that it matters, but we'll see. The only big event they've got coming up is Ultimate Invasion. They are. There's a new Thor book coming out, new Hulk book coming out. I mean, didn't they just reboot Hulk last year or a year ago? Maybe a year. It ain't been long.
It hasn't been long at all.
Now they're doing it again.
Yeah.
I guess
Do over. Mulligan.
Well,
it seems like Marvel's motto is this. I guarantee if you walk in their building, it's probably, well, if you first you don't succeed. Just,
well, that's
Pretend
that
it didn't
cyclical
happen.
thing, right? Because
Yeah.
that Hulk run, I read a chunk of that. It was okay. And
that's really what we
they're
heard
gonna-
from most people.
They're going to reboot it, and good. They probably need to. And I'll buy it when it gets
Well,
rebooted. And go from there.
the last one was just called titled Hulk.
Right.
This one's back to the Incredible Hulk.
Right.
So it's the Incredible Hulk #1, which we shall see.
We shall hope. We shall hope.
And Ultimate Invasion has some pretty cool covers.
We doubled down on Ultimate Invasion covers,
They had
so
a foil cover.
How many
It looks pretty good.
variants are for #1?
Oh God, I
at
don't
least
know.
10.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's more than that.
Well,
Nice.
10 that we can get.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of.
Matt knows where to get
exclusives.
those primo
Primos.
primo variants.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the 9/8, and I was like, where did that cover come from? What's that one? I didn't see that one.
Which one?
When he was just pulling stuff
Oh, my
out of
gosh.
the. Hey, let me tell you something. If you need
You
to
weren't
go
paying
buy
it.
lottery numbers, talk to Matt first. I think he out of his 16 books he sent in, 14 of them came back 9/8. So
That's
pretty awesome.
I'm having
Yeah.
to pick me out a lottery ticket here.
Absolutely. That was a good. That's good numbers. I'll take those any day.
Man, it is getting late. It took us forever to get this podcast up and going. I know
It
we've
is.
talked for an hour.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
That's what kind of what we're trying to do. Keep it short and sweet.
Short and sweet, but I mean, when we got a guest here, this is kind of what happens in the shop, guys. So if you're in the Spring Hill area, be sure to swing in, say hi to me, Joey, Loren, Matt, and all the Cadets gang. If you got kids, bring them on in. We got Pokemon cards. We'll introduce you to some comic books. Help you find an action figure or two. We are here to serve you.
That's right. And this is just like, I think, unlike a lot of comic shops, it's a place where you can come hang out, play games with your friends, work a
Yeah.
puzzle over in the diner
100%.
booth. Just
Pretty
come
soon
in
you'll be able to
and
get a popsicle. There's donuts out front now. Like this place is happening. There's
Get you
Chick-fil-A
a-
across the street, burritos up the hill.
That's right, man.
that's a
Give
new
them
place.
something for-
Yeah.
And there's actually another restaurant coming in over here. So it's
And an ATM too.
Yeah,
An
we need to
ATM.
have one of those out
actually
front.
that is right. The new Chase Bank's
Yeah.
coming up. We're actually thinking about
Things
transfer.
are happening.
Things are happening at Cadets.
Yeah, so we're we're bringing this back a little different format and a little short and sweet bit.
I think our production is going to be a little bit better next week because our muscle memory is off and
Had to have a
short a pair of
first-
headphones. We're short of. Got a new mixing board back there. It's just been it was fun.
All
Fun
right.
getting it going.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
We didn't even talk about the con.
No, we didn't.
Lauren and I went to ICCC today
This
and
is our- this is
up
your
in
big
Lebanon.
get right here.
Yeah, we got Heir to the Empire. We got the whole set.
They're on.
First
Soap's
appearance
coming
of
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it at the shop.
Yeah.
Right
ICCC is an interesting place. If you're into Star Wars, that's the or GI Joes. That's the spot.
I told you I saw a commercial on broadcast like NBC last night, which I was thinking, man, that's high
crazy.
dollar. That's
That's
high
crazy,
dollar
yeah.
spots there. So
Yeah,
I
that
guess
ain't
they're
cheap.
doing something right.
They
They're
dude,
charging $70
I've never been to
at
a
the
Comic
door.
Con that had helicopter rides and a circus.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that. Like, you don't go to a con to ride a helicopter.
Mm-mm.
And literally, we watched it take off. It like did a loop around the actual fairgrounds and then landed. So I was
Oh.
like, that better have costed $5.
They're right.
Because if I'd have paid $50 for that, I'd have been like, I want my money back.
Yeah.
Didn't you think that though?
Well, it was odd to me. I mean, because and here's the thing. I'm sure they didn't pay for them to be there. They just said, hey, if you want to show up, you can fly in and out of the fairground and pick people up while they're eating.
I don't know, man. There's so much liability in a helicopter ride and fuel and like.
Well, I guess it's something for the wife and kids, so Dad can spend 2 hours or whatever doing his thing. But if those flights are that short, they're not going very far.
They also had like a concert going on there that nobody was listening to.
Yeah.
I don't know how Saturday was, but Sunday was pretty low key. The weather was good. I mean, I didn't hate the con. It was great.
Last year it was packed last year, but the facility was small. And,
they did utilize the space that they had, I should say. And I think that's actually kind of a neat thing the way they have it set up. It's just, and they had like their gaming in one section, like an arcade over here, like our video game thing. They had things, their idea was good.
Yeah.
I think there's some execution things. The security was
over the top.
Really over the top. Like I'd gotten through TSA with less invasiveness.
It was like going into like Disney or
not even that.
Universal.
I've never had that much with Disney. Like they went through every pocket in my backpack to.
They still didn't find. I
didn't find my fork.
I had my pocket knife that I accidentally had on me. And I threw it in the bottom of the zipper part.
They also were like they would wand you and like it would beep on your phone and go something in your pocket. And I was like, my phone.
Wow.
It was just like that part was a little over the top. But they.
You should be pulled that gun out. You looking for this?
I wonder how that would work.
Your SIG,
meeting Vincent
your
was pretty
SIG
cool.
9mm.
Meeting Vincent.
I'm
not going to say his last name.
D'Onofrio.
Exactly.
Say private pile.
Yeah, this is my rifle. This is my gun. But,
I don't think that's how he says that.
I don't remember.
That's a song, isn't it?
He does that look. But that was cool. It was
Wheels came. He
him.
got to.
Oh yeah.
Wheels was up there.
You got Zeb.
And you got
I
Hera.
got Hera for the wife, and I got Kingpin for myself. So that was kind of cool. And that they had other Rebels voice actors there. So last year it was the Clone Wars folks. They had the Emperor was there, but his line was short because he was there last year. I think.
Well, he's charging $200 a signature.
I didn't even see that. You're kidding me.
That's what somebody said. They were like
No.
that's what I heard was $200 a signature.
I didn't pay that last year. I don't remember what I paid, but it wasn't 2 bills. I can tell you that right now.
I can't imagine dropping 2 bills, not even for an autograph and like a photo.
And Gimli's line was short too. So John.
Somebody told me that,
Davis.
and what I was saying was like, they can charge whatever they want to because so many of these guests, these celebrity guests, have they're guaranteed a X amount of dollars just to show up to these things.
Right.
And what that means is like either they make that in autograph sales, or if they don't, the con has to pay the difference. So they're guaranteed. Let's just say it's $10,000, and let's just say they know that whether or not they make it from signatures or they make it from the con, they may not care. But some of these people like. My friend Tara, she like, when I was hanging out with her that one con, I know for a fact in one day she made $50,000.
Isn't that nuts?
And she was packing around in her backpack, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of money. Like for like just signing autographs, like $50,000.
That's a lot of money in general.
Totally. That's some people's yearly salary.
So that's all payout. Like it's cash.
Well, so when you go in, like. And
That
this
didn't
was
even count
different.
swiping a credit card.
So if
No,
you
I
went
think it might have
to
included
Charlie
credit card,
Cox
'cause
and
cash was like
Vincent D, you had to go pay for that up front.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah, exactly. You had to go pay for that
Didn't
up
do.
front, and then the others were at their table. So I bet you Charlie Cox and Kingpin had a sitting fee, and maybe the other ones didn't. 'Cause you
So
just
when
paid right
Tara,
up
I've seen how that like she doesn't handle money. She has an assistant that's literally working the line. What do you want?
That's
And
what they were doing.
Literally,
Yep.
it's almost like they're taking bets. It's just like collecting.
Not the ticker system with that one.
No, well, I don't know how they do. There's supposed to be a con volunteer that keeps up with the ticks because some of them have shares too. Like they get a cut of whatever the celebrity makes. They're guaranteed X amount of dollars to a point, and there's a cut. It's whatever. Everyone's different. Everybody has a different arrangement, but like they're supposed to be count like how many they've sold.
It's a cash
of what,
business.
100%. Like they cannot do that, and like that's where the con loses money, you know. And don't you think people don't do that? Heck yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So and the bigger the celebrity, the more difficult they are to deal with. So it's like, what a racket.
Yeah, it was. But
However, I don't know that Ian McDermott is so big that he could be charging $200.
Not-
Like
not
William
anymore,
Shatner didn't
yeah.
charge that much
Yeah,
money.
No. I mean, I did. Like I said, I don't remember what I paid last year.
William
It wasn't
Shatner
even
was kind of
half
like
that.
Biden. It was like, thanks for coming.
Yeah. I mean, he's 94.
Hey, rocking it still.
Yeah. Well, the Gimli John, he's 79, doing that, sitting there.
John Rhys
signing-
Davies?
Yeah, signing autographs.
Yeah.
So
Well, it was a good day at the con. It was a good day weekend at the shop.
It was.
Hopefully we'll have a good week at the
Yeah.
shop. Lauren, thanks for coming out and helping us tonight,
appreciate you
talking
inviting
with us.
me in.
We always love having you around the shop.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
big shout out to Matt behind the glass,
Matt.
Absolutely.
the 10s and the 2s.
That's right. Behind the glass, making it happen.
All right, well, we're going to bounce out of here. I go check on my dogs. They're probably
Yeah.
thinking I abandoned them again.
Yeah.
I've been gone all day except for those.
All right, son.
All right, son. Bye, son.
Bye.